All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, anywhere you are in the world. Thank you for joining me to discuss this vital topic, how to pray more and how to pray better. I've always wanted to pray more. Till now, after several years in the Lord, I also want to pray better. Really want to see that my prayers are more effective. Bible said the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much, or makes tremendous power available. I want to be like that. So I've had this quest to pray more and to pray better. And I just want to share some things I've stumbled on, that have helped me and have helped those who have learned from, who have been my teachers over the years. And they are coming together to become clearer. And I just want to share it with you so you can make it clearly simple for you to be able to work on. There are some of these simple steps we can take that can expand our prayer ability, that can make us pray more and pray better. And let's look at this. In chapter 14, the book of Mark, from verse 32, let's read. It says this: Then they came to a place which was named Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, that's Jesus, sit here while I pray. And he took Peter, James, and John with him, and he began to be troubled and deeply distressed. Then he said to them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Stay here and watch. He went a little farther and fell on the ground and prayed that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. And he said, Abba, Father, all things are possible for you. Take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not what I will, but what you will. Then he came and found them sleeping and said to Peter, Simon, are you sleeping? Could you not watch 1 hour? Watch and pray, lest you enter to temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And he went again. Again, he went away and prayed and spoke the same word. And when he returned, he found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. They did not know what to answer him. And verse 41 says, then he came the third time and said to them, are you still sleeping and resting? It is enough. The hour has come. Behold, Son of Man is been betrayed into the hands of sinners. Let us be going. See, my betrayal is at hand. Glory to Jesus. Now, notice something. Jesus was at a critical point in his life, going toward his crucifixion. And it was a time to pray, critically to pray, because he was getting a little bit disturbed and sorrowful. Then he took disciples to pray, and he said, pray. And they slept off. And while they slept off, he came, prayed, and he saw them. And amazing, he woke them up and said, hey, are you still sleeping? Take a look. Let's read it again. Verse 37. Then he came and found them sleeping and said to Peter, Simon, are you still sleeping? Could not to watch 1 hour? Watch and pray lest you enter the temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Now, I've read that verse several times, and sleeping, their disciples, Jesus. But Jesus was giving us a clue to how to pray more and how to pray better in that verse 38. Look at it. He said, watch and pray lest you enter the temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So I just saw it that actually what is holding them back from praying is the flesh. And what should be willing in them, was willing in them, was the spirit, the small letter spirit. So their spirit was willing, but their flesh was weak. And they were trapped in the flesh. So the weakness that manifested in their sleeping over and not praying as they should pray at that moment, it was their flesh. The spirit was willing, and Peter was willing to go to death with Jesus. But you could see it after they captured Jesus and everybody ran away. But Jesus just kind of was calm, cool, and in control all through, because he had taken time to pray. He had prayed more. He had prayed better. And then also you could see Peter trying to attempt to save the situation, and he denied Jesus 3 times and he ran off because he was not watching. He actually entered to temptation. And that's what I wanted in my life. I don't want to wind up in temptation. I want to live well. So how do I pray more? Let me show you what I mean by that. But what I just show you, it's beautiful. Take a look at this. Look at this. There's the praying. That's it. The spirit is willing to go up. The flesh is downgrading the praying. So that's where the problem is. So I need to learn to let my prayer be driven more by the spirit that is willing than the flesh making me to be weak. The flesh is the one that is dragging me down and forcing me to struggle by myself. So I need to learn to enter to the willingness of the Spirit, and then let not the flesh overcome me. So I need to spend more time learning to connect with the Spirit so I can be more willing in prayer, to pray more, and then to pray better. Let's take a look at that. Let's go. Let's look at what Paul said about this. That the Spirit and the understanding the flesh, because it is the flesh that downgrades my understanding and drain my energy from praying well. And so what do I need to do? I just saw this list I want to share with you. If you want to pray more, chapter 14, 1 Corinthians, and let's read it in verse 14. Let me just quickly clear it for you so you can see it. Now, take a look. It says this: for if I pray in a tongue, my spirit prays, but my understanding is unfruitful. What's the conclusion then? I will pray with the Spirit. I also pray with understanding. I'll sing with the Spirit. I also sing with understanding. Now, can you see something going on there? Paul said, when I pray in tongue, my spirit prays. But my understanding, that's my natural understanding from my natural makeup. My flesh is my natural makeup, which is weak. And my spirit is my spiritual makeup, which is willing. So Paul said, when I pray in tongue, my spirit prays, but my understanding is unfruitful. So this is the key here now. So the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So what do I need to do? I need to key more into the Spirit and pray more with the Spirit. And to pray more with the Spirit, I can pray better. I can pray more in the Spirit. By praying in the Spirit, I can actually be in the willingness of the Spirit. So I saw this key that if I want to really pray better, if I want to pray more, I need to pray with the Spirit. And by praying with the Spirit, I will enter to the willingness of the Spirit, and it will be easier for me to pray. Now, anybody can say this: it's easier to pray in tongues than to pray with understanding. Why? Because there is no hindrance and be thinking and be struggling to know what to pray when you are coming to your understanding. But in the Spirit, you'll be able to pray without struggling with your mind and your flesh to know what to pray about and all kind of a thing. So what I want us to see now is that I learned this. If I want to pray more, I should learn to pray with the Spirit. Paul said this. He said, what's the conclusion then? I will pray with the Spirit. I also pray with understanding. I'll sing with the Spirit, sing with understanding also. You can see, so Paul now put premium on praying with the Spirit in the willingness of the Spirit than the weakness of the flesh. Isn't that very interesting? He even recommended, as I round up on this, he recommended us to do this in Ephesians 6 verse 18. Take a look. Look at verse 18. It says this. Verse 18, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, being watchful to this end with all perseverance and supplication for all the saints. Say, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit. Now, I can't. It's not easy to pray always with my flesh, with my understanding, my natural makeup. It's just going to drag me down. But Paul said you can pray always with all types of prayer and supplication in the Spirit. So I learned this. You can pray more by hooking up with the Spirit, just praying in the Spirit. Just pray. That's the only way to pray always and pray more. And that way you also pray better because you are communicating with your spirit to God. You are not using your understanding, which is weak. See, the willingness is in the Spirit to link to God, to make all things known to God, and to have no kind of hindrance and the weakness of the flesh. But when I enter the Spirit, I can pray more, I can pray better. So let's learn to pray with the Spirit. I learned that. I found that the more I pray all the time. I can pray with the Spirit all the time. And my spirit is good to God. My understanding here is not hindering me per se because I'm not praying the weakness of the flesh. And I can get much more done by this Spirit. I hope this has helped you a little bit. Thank you for listening.